The grass blade and the bison. Listen closely, because on a wide, wind-brushed prairie where the earth trembled beneath thunderous hooves, a single blade of grass learned a lesson powerful enough to outlast storms, seasons, and even giants. It began on a dawn so still, the horizon looked like it was holding its breath. A young grass blade, slender, green, barely taller than a whisper, stood in the middle of an endless field. Around it swayed thousands of others, but none as restless, none as curious, none as afraid. Because today, the ground was rumbling. At first, it felt like a distant heartbeat beneath the soil, soft, steady, patient. But with every passing second, it grew louder, closer, heavy, unstoppable. The grass blade quivered. The bison, they're coming. From the horizon emerging like a living storm cloud, the great bison herd surged forward. Shadows rippled across the prairie, horns catching sunlight like sparks from a forge. Their pounding hooves sent vibrations humming through every root and stone. The herd wasn't walking. It wasn't running. It was charging. Nearby grasses stiffened, trying to stand tall, trying to look strong. If we bend, one said, we'll break. We must hold our ground, said another, or be crushed. But the young blade felt the tremors rattling its entire being. Standing firm felt impossible. Standing firm felt foolish. It lifted its gaze toward the oncoming herd, monuments of muscle and momentum, and knew one thing with absolute clarity. It could never stop them. It could only survive them. As the first bison roared past, the wind burst forward like a wave. The grass blade bowed, deeply, willingly, pressing itself low to the earth. Hooves thundered above. Dirt exploded. The world shook so violently it felt as if the sky might crack. But low to the ground, the grass blade endured. The herd flooded over the prairie, a rushing river of power, their shadows sweeping across the earth. Minutes passed, maybe hours. Time had no meaning in a storm of giants. And then the thunder slowed, dwindled, faded. Dust drifted down. The earth settled. Silence returned. Cautiously, gently, trembling but alive, the little blade lifted itself upright. It shook off the soil, raised its narrow body back toward the sky. The grasses who had tried to stand tall now lay bruised, snapped, broken. One turned its torn stalk toward the young blade. How did you survive? The grass blade looked toward the path the bison had taken, a path it had endured. I bowed, it whispered, not because I was weak, but because I was wise. A soft breeze curled through the field, lifting the blade in a warm, approving sway. The prairie glowed under the rising sun, and the grass blade understood. Strength isn't always standing firm. Sometimes real strength is knowing when to bend. And in that quiet moment, surrounded by the surviving whisper of the wind, the blade felt taller than any bison that had ever crossed the earth. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.